Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I have a little book review today about this book that I have been anxiously awaiting for a while. And I have a lot of mixed feelings on it. I'm trying to get my filming done earlier in the morning. I normally don't do that, but I have to because of the extreme heat that we're having, and it is just so different experiencing this without central AC. I do have two fans going and I do have a portable AC in here, but I had to open the blinds so I can get some sunlight. It is rough. I feel like, because obviously this is upstairs, I feel for anyone whose like entire apartment is just like an attic or loft apartment. I know there have been heat related deaths in France, and like this is just awful. This climate is warming at an alarming rate and it's really terrifying. And they really try to blame us, the consumer, and they're like, well, maybe if you drink out of these paper straws, as if they weren't, I don't know, pillaging countries for their natural resources, cutting they are in charge of all of the deforestation around the world. I don't know, maybe dumping millions of gallons of fuel accidentally into oceans isn't a good thing. But it's fine. No, now the newest thing is not even the paper straw. I got this really terrible like cardboard lid on a soft drink. I was like, okay, I'm about to riot. But it's fine, you know. We must sacrifice as the little guy. Cuz if we don't change, then how can the big corporations do their daily work? I hate it so much. So, you know, I feel for anyone on a Euro summer trip right now. I hope you are at a hotel with AC or your Airbnb has AC, because this is not a joke. Anyway, all that to say, you hear all that extra background noise. Hopefully you find it nice, a nice little ambient, because I'm not turning shit off, okay? It's hot, and this is the only way I can film this video. Is that it? Is that all I have to say? Oh, just a reminder though, the trip that I have, the 2 European trips that I have, one coming up in December and one next October, will not be in the middle of summer. Obviously, Christmas market's in December, so it will not be hot. And there's still a few spots left on that trip. And then next October in Slovenia, now it won't be, I don't think it'll be cold, but it's not going to be the middle of summer either. Should be really nice temperatures. So that info is down below if you want to come with me on those. So the book is called Like, Follow, Subscribe: Influencer Kids and the Cost of a Childhood Online by Tessa Latifi. Now, this sounded really interesting to me because if you have watched me for a while, then you know about Mara from books like Whoa, and we chat together on Welcome to Our Open Tabs, and we've talked about influencer children before, and also just, you know, child stars and stuff like that, and all the horrors that come from that. I previously have read memoirs like Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, but then she was a child star on TV, but then also The House of My Mother, I believe it was called, by Sherry Frankie. Her mother was Ruby Frankie, who had a massive YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. She's a Mormon woman who, she was married, and I think, yeah, 6 kids in Utah, and she had a family vlogging channel, and these channels are huge. Only in the last, like, I knew they existed, but only in the last like year or two, or a couple years that me and Mara have been talking about it, have I realized how many and how large they are, because I just have never understood the appeal. I've had people I used to watch, then they had kids and like put that into their content, and that's just not interesting to me anymore. So I'm like, who is watching this content? But apparently millions of people. So then I would see sometimes online this author saying she was interviewing children of not reality, but like influencers, mommy bloggers, vloggers, and she had been talking about this book for a while. So it finally came out and I got the audio. I will say, I feel like, I don't want to say this book was too early, because I think it's an important topic to talk about now, while there are people who maybe have been deplatformed or stopped creating content. But there's still so many who are currently creating content with their children or just of their children, basically exploiting their children for money, and people who are looking at the people who are currently making millions doing it and thinking they can do that for themselves. So I do think we need to talk about it. I don't feel this book was as thorough as I wanted it to be. It felt more like a really good piece, like could have been just like a piece for, you know, like an article or something, like a longer piece. But as a novel, after a while it became repetitive, and I just don't feel like it gave me the depth I wanted. I also think you really think going into this we were going to hear from the children, but again, I haven't been following a lot of these people, so I don't think the problem is either a lot of these children are still minors, so you have to ask their parents to talk to them, because while this is still, you know, a newer thing, but people have been doing it for a while. But I mean, some people started when their children were before they were born, so their kids could only be 10, 12. And so obviously you have to talk to the parent to get permission to talk to the child. There are some who are over 18 now and maybe they don't want to talk to you. So I just don't feel like she had a good sample size of people to pull from for what this was marketed as, is like she was talking to the kids who experienced this, whose content was made about their lives, how they felt then, how they feel now. You do get some quotes and like from them, but it's not really that. This is more focused on the mommy blogger or vlogger, because she does talk about some of the OG bloggers before I really got into video and stuff, like, you know, people started making video, you know, vlogs on YouTube, and then of course now we have TikTok. So that is my biggest thing, is I was like, yes, I want to hear from the children who have been exploited and what they think about what their parents did, how they feel now, how they're navigating life. And this is more about the mommy blogger. I think also, and not like she hides this, she is a new, or at least when she was writing this, a new mom. And so I think that there is almost this, I don't want to say jealousy, but I think a serious curiosity and maybe even like, could I do this thing that she has? Because I felt like we were, again, going to be talking about the children, and it would just be mostly condemnation for the mothers. Now, there are a lot of things we can add in here, because this is mostly focused on American moms, okay? We can add in reasons why people choose this path or try to pursue this path over traditional working. And there's a lot of societal, cultural things that come along with that. Some of these people are religious and their husbands don't want them to work, but then they want something to do. They want a creative outlet, or they do need money. And maybe they are trying to find work, but this is the only thing they can do. They're able to stay at home. They don't have to take their kids to daycare. Our minimum wage, the federal minimum wage in the United States is $7.25 an hour. People cannot make livings from that. Single mothers cannot support their children from that. Our social services, there's a lot of holes and gaps. There's not enough there. So like, she talked a little bit about that, but like, I feel like that's an important thing to add here. And not like all of these people all come from terrible backgrounds, but I do think that affects why some people are doing this and why some people look to get into that. And so I don't feel like she touched on that a lot. So I'm not saying I wanted her to sit here and like slam these women and be like, you are the absolute fucking worst person on the planet. But at the end of the day, especially these people who have millions of viewers and who know that what the internet is, what people have access to the internet, that they are putting their children, most vulnerable moments, sometimes basically naked photos of them online, are in compromising positions, or not compromising positions that people take in the wrong way, because there's weirdos online, point blank period. That's the problem. There's weirdos online and people know this, and they continuously post their children online because it's going to make them money. And I don't feel like she had enough smoke for that. And I think it's because I don't want to say she secretly wants to be a mommy vlogger, but I mean, the paychecks they're getting, I'm jealous of those too, honey. I mean, I'm not having children, but I'm jealous of those paychecks too, but there's like this little, I don't know the exact word for it. There's like an admiration, some respect, some like, I mean, I get it. I too want to share my daughter online because she's beautiful and I want people to see that.
I am frantic for a model of how to be a mother. I look to my sisters and my friends and my own mother. I read parenting books. I listen to podcasts. But mostly, I look to my phone and the mom influencers who live inside of it. If you thought that writing this book would desensitize me to the lure of mom influencers and family vloggers, you have more faith in me than I deserve. The pull of mom creators is so strong, and motherhood is so lonely. Why didn't anyone warn me about the crushing loneliness of new motherhood? Or if they did, why didn't I listen? Sometimes I feel like I'm floating on an island way out to sea, and the only things I have are my baby in my arms and my leaking breasts. It's not that I don't have help. I have a wonderful part-time nanny. My mom and mother-in-law take turns visiting and helping out. I have a supportive husband. Even with all of that, I sometimes feel wildly alone. Well, no, that's not right. I'm never alone because I'm always with my baby. But we live in a strange, complicated world, and I don't know what the right choice is for parents. It's something I'm struggling with myself as the mother of a young child. I haven't posted her name or face online and only share photos that feature her tiny dimpled hands or the back of her round head. I've talked about this with my husband a lot, and even now, I can't really explain why I don't want her to be online. It was just an instinct that arose when I was pregnant, this instinct to keep her to myself and to our families. She's just so precious to me, and there's something that feels almost like an act of dilution in the act of sharing her with the greater world. My husband gets this, kind of. He goes along with my boundaries, even though if he was solely in charge, things would be more lax. And I feel bad. I understand him wanting to post photos of her to share with his broader circle of friends and family, but something in me just balks at the idea. Am I being too strident? Probably. How does it affect my infant to have photos of her face online when she's still growing into her features? What exactly do I think I'm protecting her from? Or is it not about her at all? Did this decision arise not out of a protective instinct, but an anxious one? More and more parents are choosing to share photos of their children only on their close friends settings or with emojis pasted over their faces. The parents I spoke with who engaged in this practice told me they were worried about online footprints and how quickly artificial intelligence was advancing. They fretted about how photos of their children could be used or misused and wondered about whether or not their children could actively consent to being shared online. There was also, they told me, an underlying sense of unease.
Okay, hopefully I turned one fan off. Hopefully it's better. Okay, one thing I don't think I forgot to when I was recording this is about consent. I don't understand how the author, after doing all these interviews and talking to these people and seeing what people have posted online, that you still don't understand why it's not a good idea to place your child online. And consent is like a number one. They can't. Even if a 5-year-old is pretending, or a 5-year-old tells you, I love to be in this video, I want to do that. They don't understand. Not at 10, not at 13. They do not understand all that goes on to it, what kind of digital footprint you are building for them and putting them online. So no, even if they are happy to be in the video, they cannot consent to that. And so again, this is why I say it feels weird that she does all this research and still is conflicted. What do you mean you don't understand why you have a feeling not to share your daughter online? It's right here. Hello, there's creeps online. There's people who can take AI and make disgusting images of your child. I don't care if they grow out of their features. That's still disgusting if they take that and do whatever with that image, even if they're 3 months and they look different at 6 months. I don't like... What was the point of researching this if you didn't learn anything from it? Ooh, she made me so mad. And to be like, am I overthinking it? No. So this is why I say that I have some kind of feeling like, I don't know, maybe she wanted to do it herself and then saw some of the negative effects and decided to start researching this. But she's just, it's weird. Oh, and the emojis thing, I think it's stupid. Stop doing it. You barely cover their whole face, and I'm sure there are people who are able to manipulate that, take the emojis off, and still use images of your children. If you do not want to post your children online, which you shouldn't, just don't post them. Stop doing with a little emoji over their face. It is so obnoxious. I understand that we live in this digital age, but you just have to understand what comes with that digital age. No one is saying not to take photos, but just don't post them online. Oh my God. And I'm not a parent, so maybe that's really hard because, when I had a dog, I wanted to post him online. But you know what? I'm not going to say what I thought I was going to say. Anyway, I just think the emojis are dumb. And so there was not enough smoke in this book for me. She does go through various people. A lot of them I hadn't heard of course, because I don't follow mommy vloggers. But some she's talking about from blogging days, YouTube, TikTok, and some of these girls. And then she's also talking, there was a section of her talking about teen moms. And I was like, I thought the show Teen Mom eradicated that. And I had to check myself because I'm like, who the hell is watching teen mommy vloggers on TikTok? And I'm like, well, I was watching the show Teen Mom. So I guess I gotta come off my high horse. But watching that show, I was like, oh my God, I'm never having children, or I have to wait a really long time before I have children. Like, that acted as birth control for me. That did not encourage me. And so she says that she doesn't believe that these, you know, people are like getting pregnant so they can be a mommy vlogger. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you can prove that, but I wouldn't hold it against some people. You know, people have children for all the wrong reasons. So I would believe that somebody would have a child, or have a child earlier than maybe they wanted to, in order to try to take advantage and make millions of dollars on social media.
I think Leah and Ryla were right. I think viewers like to watch young people in vulnerable situations. We want to see their stumbles as they figure it out, or we want to see them fall entirely. There's a part of us that likes watching the content of someone we can feel so easily superior to. And who is it easier to feel superior to than teen mothers? But as I and millions of other people have seen, the top teen mom TikTokers have spun their struggles into gold. Let's put it this way. Kylie, after getting pregnant at 15, paid for her first car in cash, something I've never done at the age of 32. So who in this scenario is really superior? Something
I'm glad that she went into, though, was talking about how they make so much money and why. And it's really because they kind of cover all of the different, basically, brand niches. Because she was saying, you get pregnant, or you're trying to get pregnant, Clear Blue, which is a pregnancy test, bam, you can have a sponsorship with them. You're buying stuff for your baby, bam, you can link all of those things, like affiliate links, whatever, different brands may send you stuff. Going to the hospital, deliver your baby, bam, what's in my bag? Like, there's endless content and endless products that they can push. Then obviously your children, you have them, there's diapers, there's bottles, there's clothes, there's whatever, different things for the mom as they grow. Then obviously carpooling, cars, like they literally can cover the gambit of stuff, furniture, appliances, like all of these things. And some of these people are making like from $4,000 for a post, $10,000 for a post. I'm like, I would, honesty here, okay? Because even at the height of my channel, when I was doing the best, I'm like, the most I ever got paid for a brand deal was $750, which was a lot to me, which I would appreciate right now, but they have dried up. And that's, you know, it is the nature of this industry. With me, they haven't dried up for other people, just for me. But yeah, $750 for like one. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I cannot imagine being paid 4, 5, 10, 20 grand for one Instagram post, one TikTok video. So I say that to say I understand the allure, because that's a lot of fucking money. Most jobs you cannot make that. Most jobs you cannot fucking make that, and you're just posting your life now while exploiting your child, because most of these people are putting the children in content, and you get to make that much money. It's insane. It's insane what these brands have for certain people. But she does like interview some people who, you know, were sharing a lot, their kids' birthdays, full names, all the things, sharing them online. Then their kids are getting a little older and they have been recognized out in public, and then suddenly they realize, they're like, oh, this is not good, this is making me uncomfortable, and have kind of pulled back or said. It was interesting sometimes how she would talk to someone and they'd be like, yeah, I've decided to stop posting that stuff, but then she would go check their social media and they're still posting stuff about their kids, just maybe less, or like they're just doing the same thing, but they're like, oh yeah, I'm stepping back. It's like, okay, again, that money will make you act funny, and it does. So I won't say that I came out of this not, like, I did learn some new things, again, about like the teen mom vlogging thing, because of course I'm spend the day with me as a 18-year-old mama blocked. No, I don't do that. So I didn't know about that. I obviously knew they were making a lot of money. I didn't know how much fucking money they were making. And then I did appreciate the chapter where she goes more into why there's so many Mormon influencers, which I already knew a lot about it, but that the Mormon church really, this is basically their new modern day evangelism. They're like, yeah, go out and basically spread the gospel. But it's they don't even have to come out and say they're Mormon. It's just like showing their lives. And they're very concerned with like physical beauty and looking good. So it's showing women taking care of themselves and like making sure that they look good and they're at home, homemaking for their husband. Again, you know, like this trad wife content, what's her name? That Nara Smith or Ballerina Farms. But again, they're still not being a traditional wife because they're working. Although they're filming, they're cleaning the house and baking and all of these things. One, filming and editing that is working. Like, I'm not saying it's comparable to being a teacher, nurse, or doctor, but it is working. You know, it's not just fully child rearing. But then also a lot of them, the wealthier ones, have people behind the scenes who are helping them, but they're just making it look like they're doing it all themselves. But again, and this is just nothing but PR for the Mormon church. And I think a lot of people watch it and don't realize that. And so, yeah, they were talking about them getting paid to promote for the Mormon church. So that part was really interesting. Obviously, as a person who is fascinated with the Mormons as a never-mo myself. But I think this, in maybe a few more years when there's some more children who are older and can speak out, maybe someone can do a deeper dive into this and really get some actual like interviews with the children, because sure, you can talk to the moms and but I'm sorry, that's like this is like a case where there's a victim that's been harmed and you're just getting the story from the perpetrator of the crime and you're like, oh, well, yes, like, oh, I understand, and they said they're sorry and they didn't mean it. No, talk to the victim. That's who we wanted to hear from, the influencer children. Like, did they set aside, you're asking the parents if they set aside money from them and they're saying yes. How do we know that? They could be lying. So I'm thinking we need more time to wait for more kids to become older and speak out about their story. Although I did just see that Colin Gosselin, I believe, of John and Kate Plus 8 has a memoir that's coming out, and I did watch that show. I will be reading that memoir. Because we need to hear from them. I don't need to hear from the moms anymore. I think I know enough. I understand that, especially in this job market, is terrible. Our federal minimum wage is terrible. Our social services, our safety nets, all just lacking. I understand that. But that doesn't apply to everyone. And then at some point you have to ask, like, I don't know, is that worth selling your child for? And maybe someone would be like, well, Jessica, that's extreme. But some of these people really do. You are putting your children, you know that there are predators online. And no, it is not the same argument as women should be able to just walk out in public, no matter what she wears, she shouldn't be assaulted, correct? But that's existing in the world. We know that there are nasty people online who search for content of children and they share it, okay? And that's on the regular web. Let's not even talk about the dark web. And that's something you can prevent. You should be able to walk, jog, go to the store, go to the bar, whatever, and be safe, okay? And yes, in an ideal world, you should be able to just like put pictures of your kids online so your friends and family can see them, or maybe they're super cute and they get a modeling campaign, whatever. But that's not the reality, and that's something you can prevent. You can't prevent whatever happens in like outside, but you can choose not to take a picture of your baby in the bathtub and put it on Instagram. You can choose not to, when your child is potty training, video them and put that on TikTok. You can make a choice not to do that. The mom of the little girl, which I think their TikTok account is gone now, I hope. What was her name? I feel like her name was Olive, or I can't remember the little girl's name, but they have millions of followers, so many saves on every post. But she was starting to do things like having her like eat a pickle or like something, you know? Again, should be innocent things, but there's creeps online posting them in their little leotards or swimsuits. And maybe at the beginning of Instagram and Facebook, we didn't know as much. But now it's well known, and it was already bad, but now we have AI, the capabilities they have to take just a face and put it on a body. We had deep fakes before that, and now they're just getting easier to make. And yet you still make the decision to put your children online. So I want someone to really write a story that is, you ain't shit putting your kids on. I'm sorry, you don't have to do that. But again, I really like, we don't even need to focus on the moms that much. I want to hear from the kids. And why? I don't know. Maybe that's a question. Maybe why do I want to hear from the kids? And maybe that's something I should look into myself. But I don't know. I just kind of want to know, because some of these parents are like, no, they love it. They love being in the content. They get sad when I don't allow them to be in the video. They love making videos. But you know, we've seen also the other side of that, where kids don't want to make content. And some of these parents did say they bribe their kids. Like, they don't want to be in things and they bribe them with money. They're like, give you $100, $500, $1,000. I need you to film this video because we're going to get an all expense paid vacation. We're going to get this new car. We're going to get all these new things. And so, yeah, maybe I need to look within. Why do I need that? Maybe I can just know it was bad. Maybe to just know it was bad. I don't know. I feel like there was something else.
Sam, a pseudonym, knew their kids didn't want to be filmed. The brand deal was for a stupid product, and the kids didn't want to be involved, mostly because they would have to dance, and they hated dancing on camera. Sam understood that, but the company was going to pay the family $40,000, so everyone needed to get in line. The kids were miserable, Sam remembers. They hated it. They hated all of it. But still, it was like, we've got to do this. It will boil down to, okay, what do you want? You do this video, I'll pay each of you $500 right here, right now. Here's the cash. But even then, that wasn't enough. The kids were like, $500 is not worth this. What happened after the kids rejected Sam's $500 bribe? Well, Sam says with a sigh, the next tactic was to manipulate and guilt trip the kids. This is our business. This is what we do. This is our family job. If we owned a farm, you would all be out milking cows, no questions asked. If we owned a restaurant, you'd be helping wait tables, no questions asked. This is what we do. So get in line and let's do this. And then let's go out for ice cream and I will pay you your big fat wad of money.
It is wild to me that someone would sit here and compare this to being on a farm and you would have to work, or if we had a restaurant, you would have to wait tables. That is also child exploitation. There are child labor laws for a reason, but for some reason they still haven't caught up to people who use their children as a workhorse in their content. That is just some fucked up. That's why I'm so sorry. I know, and I might include the clip in here. She says that there has to be more nuance to this conversation. I agree that it's not completely black and white, but no, this is ridiculous. You understand that you are making your children that you chose to bring into this world work to not only fund their life, but yours. You are the parent. That is your job. Oh, that just made me mad. Oh, I did also think it was interesting. She kind of touched on kind of like hate watching of how like there's this one mom and she's a fat woman and she was low income and was just feeding her daughter whatever. Sometimes it was like McDonald's, something very cheap. And she got so many views though, and basically just endless engagement and comments of people just telling her how terrible she was and like a terrible mother. And she made enough money from that to get out of, I think she was in like Section 8 housing. She was able to buy a house and go back to school. I'm like, that's insane. That's insane. But she was kind of talking about that, and like, I don't know if she had a quote from Kale from Teen Mom or something. It's like, why do people want to watch these kinds of things or love when like somebody in these states is essentially like failing or having a hard time? It's like people love to watch that. And I'm like, do I need to look within myself of why I like to watch Mass? I do love Mass. I stopped watching Teen Mom, I don't even know how long ago. I'm like, why is it still on? Is it still on? But like, I do watch Love After Lockup. I watch 90 Day Fiance. What does that say about me? I am a cultural anthropologist, not a psychologist though, so I don't know. I'll have to come to terms with that. But anyway, all of this to say, it's fine. It's a quick audiobook. I think, you know, if you want to pick it up from the library, especially if you just don't know a lot about mommy vlogging, I feel like I did get a few things from it. It wasn't completely shocking or new information to me, but some things. But yeah, it just needed more depth, and it just doesn't really feel like a fully fleshed out, well-researched novel. Those are my thoughts. But I feel the sweat dripping down my back, so I gotta wrap it up. Anywho, what are your thoughts? Have you read this book? Or do you watch mommy vlogging content? Do you watch family channels? I am judging. And I know what I just said I watch, but I am judging. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. Especially stay moisturized. And if you're outside, you better be reapplying. We are in reapply season, okay? Reapply the sunscreen. I can't reapply it over makeup. Google it. There's options, okay? You know what? Maybe not say Google it. Maybe. Go on TikTok, Instagram. There's options, okay? Please. put on your sunscreen and reapply, and drink water. And if you're outside and doing a lot of activity, maybe get you a little electrolyte. You know, if you please, this heat is nothing to play with. All right, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.